Hey everybody, in this video we are going to be talking about plotting coordinates on a graph. Now this is probably something you've done already at some point in your life, but it's always good to get a little bit of a refresher, make sure we know exactly what we're doing. So we're going to talk about how to plot a coordinate. So a coordinate looks like this, right? It looks like, I don't know, let's say 3, -2. That's a coordinate. Now what I want to mention or discuss a little bit is how a coordinate is constructed. This is what we tend to see. But a coordinate really is represented by an x value and then a y value. Because a graph or a coordinate plane is made up of an x-axis and it's made up of a y-axis. Now the x-axis moves side to side. It is known as horizontal, and the y-axis moves up and down. It's known as vertical, right? So whenever we graph these points, what we want to do is we want to think, well, 3 is in the x spot of our coordinate, and -2 is in the y spot of our coordinate. So therefore, we need to think about these numbers as we move 3 side to side and -2 up or down. We'll talk about what those positives and negatives mean here in a second. Now, there's always a starting point whenever you graph something, and that starting point is right here at 0, 0, also known as, yeah, you guessed it, the origin. So that's always where you are going to begin when you go to graph a point. So you start with this first coordinate. So I'm going to start with 3. Since it is my x coordinate, I am going to move side to side 3. Now I move to the right to move a positive number, to the left to move negative. You can help remember that because the numbers to the right of the origin are positive. The numbers to the left of the origin are negative. So since it is a positive 3, I'm going to go over 3 spots. So I'm just kind of going to draw an arrow. You're not actually going to draw an arrow or anything like that when you're graphing this. I'm just doing it for purposes of showing off the process. But I go over there to this point to start this with my 3. Next up, I need to address the -2. So the -2 says I'm moving in the y direction now because -2 is my y coordinate. If the number is positive, you move up the y. As you can see, positive numbers are above the origin. And if the number is negative, you move below the y. I know it's kind of covered up by my writing, but that is a -5 down below the origin. So I'm going to start where the 3 took me, and I'm going to go this many units up or down. So since it's negative, I'm going to go down. I'm going to go 2 units down, and that would be to right there. So I'm going to plot that point, and wonderful. That is the coordinate 3, -2. We did it. Now let's say we want to graph a second point. I don't know, let's just make up a random coordinate. Let's say we want to graph, -2, 6. All right, well, if we start here, we always want to start with our x value, and that's going to mean left to right, moving horizontally. So I'm going to begin at the origin, and it says -2. So I'm going to go 2 back on the origin, and then I'm finished with that step. I now look at my y coordinate. My y coordinate says 6, so I'm going to move +6. Now again, the positive numbers on the y are above, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There I go. So my coordinate, -2, 6, is going to be right there. And I successfully graphed it. Now again, whenever you all are graphing this kind of stuff, you probably don't need to actually draw these lines. You can look at it and see the lines in your mind, or maybe kind of lightly trace the lines with a pencil if you have a graph in your hand, whatever. But this is the process of plotting coordinates on a graph, which is going to be really critical in just about any high school level mathematics. Whether you're talking about linear equations and graphing them, whether you're talking about, just creating shapes in geometry, whatever it might be, this is a good thing to keep in mind. All right, guys. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them below in the comments. Otherwise, thanks for watching. See you all next time.